Perseverance is a skill. Being able to persevere is a skill, whether it's in life or at work. It is a skill that we need to learn. And if you've been struggling yourself in your life or in your work with following through on some goals and some dreams that you've had, and I think that this episode today will be very useful to you. We will identify what is the key to perseverance as Jim Rohn, personal development pioneer of the 20th century, explains it. And then we will make a parallel. We will add to this wisdom. We'll back up this wisdom by some passages read from Angela Duckworth's book, Grit. It's a best-selling book on motivation. It's a very interesting read. It's on our reading list. And by Michele Gielan from her book, Broadcasting Happiness. All of these books are in our recommended reading list, so please do have a look at this. I'm really excited to get started today because these passages really helped me a lot in my personal and my professional life, and I'm looking forward to share everything with you today. Let's start with the summary for today's episode. In part 1, as always, we will read and apply what we learn. So we will read a passage from Jim Rohn's famous book, Leading an Inspired Life, and then we'll make the parallel, as I mentioned earlier, with Angela Duckworth's concept of grit and Michele Gillen's concept of perseverance, or creating happiness for yourself and for others. Very important, for yourself and for others. In part 2, we will take out our journals and we will answer some questions asked directly by Jim Rohn in his book, which is really cool. Remember that in order to have powerful answers for yourself, you need to ask powerful questions, and these powerful questions will help you get the answers that you seek. In part 3, I will guide you through a visualization exercise so that you create the blueprint inside of your mind before going to apply it in the material world. In part 4, we will be repeating some empowering affirmations, very important stuff, so that you can start the day with grit and passion and panache. Last but not least, in part 5, I will guide you through a meditation so that you can start the day with poise, with calm energy. I hope you're excited as I am. If you are, please press the like button and let's get started straight away. Welcome to the channel. If you're new here, let me introduce myself. My name is Raphael, and on this podcast, Monday to Friday, we read some very interesting passages from personal development, self-help, self-improvement, philosophy, ancient and modern positive psychology books. We then apply what we learn with some exercises. We journal, we do some affirmations, some visualization techniques, and some meditations. Every single episode comes with a free worksheet with all the exercises that you need to do so that you can follow along easier, and I write those affirmations also so that you're able to follow along as well as practice them throughout the day. Very important stuff. So if this is interesting to you, please do consider subscribing to this channel, pressing the like button, write in the comment section who you are, where you're listening to, at what time, and interesting to know about you. If you would like to contribute to my coffee intake, I would really appreciate it. You'll be able to do so by buying me a coffee. I really appreciate those generous gestures, and everything will be linked in the description to this video if you're watching on YouTube, or in the show notes if you're listening in the podcast. Let's start straight away with a passage from Jim Rohn, as promised, from his really amazing book. It's literally quote unquote. The book is called Leading an Inspired Life. It's in our recommended reading list. He says, and I quote, "It isn't just that you'll do better if you feel you're working for others in addition to yourself. You absolutely must find reasons outside of yourself to persevere if you want to keep going when the going gets tough." Hemingway wrote, "A man alone hasn't got a chance. This means that you need people to help you in life. It also means that you need people to help. You need people who can become the real reasons for perseverance beyond material possessions or your financial success. What's in it for me? can take you only so far. What's in it for somebody else besides me can take you as far as you need to go. End of quote. I really love this concept, and I have experienced it firsthand recently. I have some ups and downs, like everybody, and with the whole COVID-19 isolation and all that, I was in a moment where I was really close to give up on some of my work, not on everything, but scripting these videos takes a lot of time. Making them takes a lot of time. I have some coaching clients, which also takes a lot of time, and I got a little bit overwhelmed. But then I was able to look outside of myself, and first of all, looking at my boy and my wife and my family, knowing that I owe it to them to be successful, so that I can provide them safety and comfort and everything that they need to thrive. And then I looked at my private clients, and I also looked at some beautiful comments that I'm getting here on YouTube and on the podcast. And this really renewed my passion for helping people, for helping you guys close this gap that we talk about between who you are today and who you are capable of being at your full potential. And even if I help only one person per day, my mission is accomplished. And I have a great appreciation for all of you guys working hard on yourself to become better, to live at your true potential. And this keeps me going. This literally keeps me going. And if I didn't have that, if it was only for myself, we don't have such a big viewership. And I mean, financially, this is not. I don't do this for the money, because I don't really get any. So it's really doing it for this little community that helps me going. And this illustrates that quote from Jim Rohn. And you should also look at what you're doing in your life and stop asking it all the time, what's in it for me, but what's in it for somebody else besides me. And this is how you have the grit to continue. We've been posting daily videos since January now, and this is what keeps me going. This was the illustration I wanted to make. I blabber a lot, I'm sorry. But let's look at some wisdom from Michele Gielan. She's the author of the book Broadcasting Happiness, a really cool read. And she writes that she did a research with her husband, Sean Aker. Yeah, I always have problems with names. I apologize about that. And they discovered that there were 3 factors that account for 75% of work success. Number 1 is being realistically optimistic. That means you are an optimist, but you're not naive. It's two different things, right? You understand the constraints of reality. We did a whole video on the constraints of reality. Number 2, she talks about being actively engaged in her work. We talked about taking immediate action in Friday's episode, sorry. Successful people are actively engaged in their work on a consistent basis. And number 3, she discovered that the most successful people are the people who helped others. They were the most successful. She calls them work altruists, and explains that it is not about getting help as much as it is about giving help, which makes sense when you think about it. If you provide a service that helps somebody, if you provide a service that doesn't help anybody, then that's not very interesting, and this will not create any value, and you will not go anywhere with it. But the opposite is also true. If you create value, if you provide value, then people will appreciate it. And in the long term, if this is a business that you're trying to build, then clients will come, and so on and so forth. First you give, then you receive. And let's now take a look at Angela Duckworth's wisdom on the subject. She has one of the most popular TED Talks ever, so you can YouTube that, you can Google it. And she's the author of the book Grit. And she defines grit as being intense passion plus intense perseverance. And how do we get to that, practically speaking? She says we need to combine our personal interest with a purpose bigger than ourselves. This goes back to what Jim Rohn was saying. This goes back with what Michelle Gielan was saying also. So really, purpose bigger than ourselves. She adds that without that, we will not have the grit required to truly lock it over the long haul, right? So if you want to persevere on a long time basis for weeks or months or even years, And you really need to look at something that is bigger than yourself. And let's take our journals out right now to do a few exercises. And we're going to be answering some questions like promised that were asked by Jim Rohn in his book. And so write them down. They are in the free worksheets, so maybe they'll be easier for you. You can get the free worksheets, just follow the links in the description. So the first question is, who are you working for besides yourself? This is probably one of the most important questions of them all, so please do take the time to answer them. Who are you working for besides yourself? Number 2, who is depending on you? Number 3, who will benefit if you persevere and succeed? Who will benefit if you persevere and succeed? Number 4, who will suffer if you give up and stop trying? And finally, number 5, who can you reach out to and help once you've achieved your goals? Who is that person or that group of people? Take your time, pause this episode if you must, and remember that these answers are your keys to success, your keys to intense passion and intense perseverance. If you're having a bad day, if you're not motivated to get to work, remember who and why you are doing this for. If you want to wake up really early in the morning, remember why you're doing it. If you want to exercise, remember why you're doing it. Remember who you're doing it for. You want to be in good shape so that you can live a long life with your loved ones. Anything is possible. Just write it down. And once you're ready, let's move on to our next segment in our morning routine, which is first, sorry about my voice. I hope this is not distracting you from the content. I feel a little bit in my throat, but don't distract you, I hope. And let's move on to our guided visualization, our empowering affirmations, and our meditation. So make sure that you're sitting somewhere comfortable where you will not be disturbed for a little time so that you can, do it all peacefully, your meditation and so on. So close your eyes and imagine the people that you love the most. Imagine the people that love you in return also. And look at them closely. Look at them smiling and smile back. They are the people you are working for first and foremost, before yourself. Imagine that task that you need to do, that you need to get done. Maybe you need to call a few clients, or you need to write an email, or whatever it is that you have been putting off because of some abstract resistance, something that you've been procrastinating about. And now remember that you're doing all this hard work, or whatever it is that you need to be doing, not only for yourself, but for the people that you serve. So those people that you've just imagined before, the people that you love and the people that love you in return. And then do that task inside of your mind for now, and in the material world later. Do that task. Imagine yourself doing it and feeling how proud of yourself you are for following through, and how proud of you those people that you love would be if you followed through once and for all, taking action. And whenever you're ready, let's move on to today's empowering affirmations. There are 7 of them, so repeat them out loud. I love, insert people you love there, and they love me. Number 2, I am in service of others. Number 3, I am committed to the people I serve. Number 4, I am committed to becoming a hero to the people I love. Number 5, I am working not only for me and to achieve my goals, but to help others achieve theirs. I not only receive help, I give help. Last but not least, my purpose is bigger than myself. Before we move on to the meditation, I just want to mention this word hero that I said in the fourth affirmation. And I don't mean like a hero in a cape that's going to go fight crime. By hero, I mean the literal sense of the word hero, which actually means the protector. So when I say I am committed to becoming a hero to the people I love, basically is I'm committing to be the protector of the people I love, the protector of the community. Okay? Let's move on to the meditation now. So close your eyes if they're not closed already. And I'm going to take this meditation just like a practice for later, for when you need to persevere, when you need to act with patience. And it's going to be a little bit uncommon, maybe, but we're just going to sit there and just following your breath if you want to. But you don't have to. You don't have to pay attention to anything. Just want you to sit there and just be. Practicing this patience that you will need later. Practicing this acceptance of where you are today. Practicing acceptance of who you are today. And not really projecting yourself to who you can be in the future, but staying today, taking actions that will automatically make you grow into the best version of yourself. Right? So not projecting in the future who you could be, but acting today so that you will become. After a moment of just sitting there now, count your breath. I want you to count 20 breaths. If you lose the count, simply go back to 1. Whenever you are ready, lose the focus, take a nice deep breath, and open your eyes. That's it for today's episode. I hope you have enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Check out all the links in the description below if you want to see our recommended reading list, if you want to say hi, if you want to get me a coffee, I appreciate that. And I will see you tomorrow for the next episode. Take care.